So here is exactly what you need to check.
So when you see the car, start with the documents, not the car.
Here are some key red flags to look out for, and if you see any of these, simply walk away. Hiya guys, and welcome back to CAMEO Driving. My name is Aman, and today's video is an interesting one. Have you recently passed your driving test, or are you still learning to drive and you're looking to buy your first car? Today, I'm going to be giving you guys tips and tricks on what to look out for when you're buying a used car. And to help me with this, I have got Lovejit from S Specialist Cars. You guys might already recognize him. This is actually my nephew who learned to drive with me on this channel a few years back. He now runs his own used car dealership, and you can buy cars through Lovejit if you wanted to.
Hi guys, when buying a used car, there are a lot of factors to consider. As the car may look great, there may be a lot more going on underneath the bonnet. So I'm going to help you through this so you can avoid getting stuck with a hefty bill later on down the road.
Firstly, let's talk about the budget, because if you're a new driver, you're looking at a budget between £2,000 to £5,000, and this is actually the sweet spot. So here is exactly what you need to check, because at this price range, you're not just buying a car, you're managing your safety and risk.
So I'm going to break this down step by step so you know exactly what to look for, what matters, and when to walk away.
Firstly, as a new driver, you want to make sure the car you're looking at has the smallest engine possible, because this will have a huge impact on your car insurance. And no matter how you did in your driving test, as a new driver, you are at the highest risk of getting into a collision, so you want to build up your experience and confidence on the road.
So before you go anywhere near the car, you want to do all your checks online. Firstly, you want to get the vehicle registration number, and you want to check these three things: the MOT history, mileage consistency, along with any advisories and failures.
Also check if the car has been written off, if there's any outstanding finance, or if the vehicle's been recalled for any safety checks. If anything does not line up, don't even go anywhere near the car.
So when you see the car, start with the documents, not the car. So with documents, you want to look for these two things. You want to look for the V5C, you want to look for the service history, along with the MOT certificates. When you're looking at the logbook, just bear this in mind, that if you're buying from a private seller, the name and the address must match the seller's description. However, when buying from a trader, do note that the previous keeper's name and address may still be on the logbook. Make sure you look out for these three things. So the first one is, make sure that the VIN number on the V5 logbook matches the VIN number on the car. Secondly, you want to make sure that the mileage on the car matches the previous records. Thirdly, you want to make sure that the seller's name matches the name on the logbook, unless of course you're buying from a trader. So if the car comes with no paperwork, simply just walk away.
Now you want to inspect the outside of the car. Look for any dents, any scratches, any mismatched paintwork. Look out for any rust on the wheel arches and the seals, and any cracks on the bumper or even on any of the panels. Now you know rust is a serious issue. Cosmetic damage isn't, but structural damage is serious. Now you want to make sure you're checking the tyres. Firstly, look for the tyres to have that 1.6mm tread, and we can gauge that right from this bit over here, so this one's actually pretty good. And secondly, you want to look for any uneven wear, because that could mean the car has suspension issues or alignment issues.
So now that you've checked all the paperwork along with the exterior of the car, let's get underneath the bonnet. So when you're checking in the bonnet, you want to check for these three main things. So number one, you want to check for the engine oil level along with the condition of the oil. So you want to take out the dipstick, wipe it clean, put it back in, and just check the overall condition. So second thing you want to look for is you want to make sure that there's no oil leaks along with any coolant leaks, as this may be due to poor maintenance. And the last thing you want to check for is you want to open up the coolant cap and just check for the overall condition of the coolant. Just make sure that you're doing all these checks when the engine is cold. So now let's start the car. So now what you want to do is you want to look out for these two things. You want to check for any excess smoke coming out of the exhaust. Secondly, you want to listen to the engine itself. Make sure that there's no knocking or rattling noises coming from the engine whilst the engine's on. Engine issues are the most expensive problems to fix. This is where most purchases go wrong. So make sure when you're starting the engine, you do this from a cold start, as a warm engine might be hiding some underlying problems.
Now let's check the car's interior, so let's sit inside. You want to start the engine and look for any warning sign on the dashboard. All good? check all of the electronics in the car. That's the windows, make sure all of them go up and down, check the AC, check the infotainment system, make sure everything works. Thoroughly inspect the inside of the car, the general condition of the car, and even the seats themselves. If the interior is badly looked after, it usually means that the car was not maintained properly.
Alright, it's time for the most important check, the test drive. Remember, never buy a car without test driving it. During the test drive, you want to check for the clutch. You want to make sure that it's not got a high biting point.
Yes, a high clutch biting point engaging near the top of the clutch pedal is a potential warning sign that the clutch friction plate is worn out and near the end of its life. While some cars naturally have a higher biting point than others, a high clutch is a frequent symptom of a worn clutch plate or a pressure plate, indicating a costly repair may be imminent. So when you're out for your test drive, make sure to test each of these things. Firstly, the gears. Make sure they are smooth and not crunchy. Secondly, the brakes. Make sure when you're driving, you're applying a bit of pressure on the brakes to test them. They should not be vibrating or pulling to one side. And lastly, the steering. With your hands on either side on a nice straight road, does the car go in a straight line? If the car pulls to one side as you're driving, there could be an issue with the steering wheel alignment.
So listen carefully whilst driving, as unusual noises usually means problems. A test drive is essential because many issues only show up whilst the car's moving.
Here are some key red flags to look out for, and if you see any of these, simply walk away. The vehicle doesn't come with a logbook. The seller is simply rushing you to try and make the purchase. The mileage on the paperwork simply doesn't make sense. The engine has a knocking sound, or there's smoke coming out of the exhaust when the engine's running. Multiple MOT failures on the car for the exact same issue. Remember, there will always be other cars available. Simply walk away if you see these red flags.
So with a budget of 2,000 to 5,000, your goal is not perfection, it's safety and reliability. Make sure to prioritize full service history, clean MOT records and simple engines, as complex and modified engines can cause issues down the line.
And if you're unsure about the car, it's best to take somebody experienced with you, or better yet, pay for an inspection. Spending an extra £100 to get the car inspected by somebody professional is going to save you thousands later on down the line. So that is it, guys. That is the end of today's YouTube video. Let me know what you guys thought of all the tips and tricks. And if there's anything that I have personally missed out, make sure to pop it down in the comments so we can help out the little learners so that they don't get stuck with a bad car. And I will be doing a review with one of these cars with Lovejit's help. So let me know down in the comments which of these cars you would actually like to see me reviewing, because realistically, as a new driver, you're not going to be going out and purchasing a £20,000 car. Your price range would be around £2,000 to about £5,000. Maybe it might even be cheaper than £2,000. I have seen some cars out there. Lovey, do you think we should do a video on buying one of the cheapest cars out there? He's giving me a little head nod. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave you in charge of that actually. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Lovey's going to find one of the cheapest and most reliable cars out there. What are we saying, 500? You think you can get a car for £500?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you heard it here first. Lovey's going to hunt down a really, really cheap car that's also reliable, and we're going to go for a test drive and see how we cope with that car. This is going to be interesting.